Subscribe right now and hit the bell icon, or this fat spider will crawl over your face while you sleep. Today we will be talking about 10 animals that are the last of their kind. You will be amazed how many animals there are that only have one left, like the Tasmanian Tiger plus the Pyrenean Ibex. So let's start with our number 10, the Last Quagga. The last quagga to walk on the earth died at the Amsterdam Zoo in 1883. If you were to imagine the front half of a zebra and the back half of a donkey, you'd be very close to imagine a quagga. These new unique animals are called Rau quaggas, after the project's founding researcher, Reinhold Rau. While they may not be entirely quagga on the inside, the resemblance is undeniable on the outside. They are highly unique, so unique in fact that there is only one left on this planet, so not long now they will be extinct. Number 9. Incus, the Caroline parakeet. If I told you that the eastern United States once was home to a poisonous species of parrot, you might have a hard time believing it. And it isn't as if we could prove it to you by showing you one in person, because the last one, named Incus, died at the Connecticut Zoo in 1918. These gorgeous birds began life mostly green in color. They develop beautiful shades of yellow and red on their heads as they age. They are absolutely stunning birds. It is sad there's only one left. Number 8. Celia, the Pyrenean Ibex. The Pyrenean Ibex was a species of wild goat found in Spain, Andorra, and France. The last living individual was a female named Celia, who was 13 years old and she died of being crushed by a falling tree. Celia was well known to researchers. She was captured in 1999 and had some cells taken from her ear. Ibex didn't do well in captivity. Celia was fitted with a tracking collar and was released back into the wild. That way, researchers could know her whereabouts. It also allowed them to find her body after she died. Number 7. Turgy the Snail. In January 1996, a species of tree snail quietly went extinct when the last known individual of a Polynesian species died at the London Zoo. The numbers of this species slowly went, as snails do, from 296 to just one over 21 months. The final snail, named Turgy by the staff, was one of the species autopsied to look for answers as to why they all died in captivity. The answer was a parasitic infection found in all the examined snails. It led directly to their deaths. That is right, this was the last of this species of snail. Number 6. Booming Ben, the heath hen. Closely related to the Ferrari chicken, the heath hen was a ground-dwelling bird that was native to the east coast of North America. They were especially plentiful in colonial America, especially in the New England and Mid-Atlantic regions. The settlers of what would become the United States did not consider the heath hen to be a remarkable bird. Many considered it to be poor person's food due to the abundance of these animals at the time. Some scholars even suggest that the birds eaten at the first Thanksgiving dinner may have been heath hens instead of turkeys that we all usually associate with the holiday. Number 5. Tugi, the rabs-fringed-limbed tree frog. The most recent death on this list is of Tugi, the last known member of a rare frog species called rabs-fringed-limbed tree frog. He died in 2016 after 11 years in captivity at the Atlanta Botanical Garden. The name fringe-limbed comes from the extensive webbing on the animal's fingers and toes, which they used to glide from tree to tree. They were large for tree frogs, measuring almost 10 centimeters, 4 inches, when at their largest. This extinction was especially sad because this species was only discovered and named in 2008, so scientists knew about them for less than a decade. Number 4. Benjamin, the Tasmanian Tiger. The Flyken, aka Tasmanian Tiger, was an unusual marsupial about the size of a dog. It had a pouch on its belly and stripes resembling those of a tiger on its back and behind. Despite having been extinct for over 80 years at this point, it's a still widely known culture icon, especially in Oceania. Much has been written about the Tasmanian tiger when it comes to humans regretting the extinction. Not as much attention has been paid to the poor Benjamin the Tasmanian Tiger ending. The name Benjamin was seemingly given to him after his death, once people noticed that he was the last. But the zoo didn't realize that it was the ending while he lived. Now, time for our top 3. Number 3. The last Kawaii O, one of our 4 extinct species of Oo in the moho genus. The Kawaii O has one of the saddest extinction stories of any species. These birds were once plentiful on the island of Hawaii, where islanders wore their feathers as headdresses. The decline of the species is usually due to mosquito-borne illnesses, also the introduction of rats, cats, and other predators on the island. They were big, beautiful birds and highly respected, but sadly died as they were not that smart or strong in terms of survival. Number 2. Martha the Passenger Pigeon. The passenger pigeon earned its name from the Great Migrations, which contained birds numbering in the billions. Yes, that's billions, with a B. When the flocks were at their greatest numbers, estimates placed passenger pigeons as the most populous bird in the United States. They made up 25 to 40% of all the birds in the country. Incredibly, between 1860 and 1914, hunters and habitat destruction reduced the once seemingly impeccable flock to a single bird. Imagine being one of the largest flock of birds in the United States to being extinct. Number 1. Lonesome George, the Pinta Island tortoise. You can't make a list about the last of a species without mentioning Lonesome George. Easily the highest profile case among endings. George was discovered all by his lonesome in 1972 on Pinta Island, one of the Galapagos Islands. After years of exhaustive searches, it turned out there are 0 more members of his species. He has officially declared the last remaining Pinta Island tortoise. The island's vegetation had been ravaged by feral goats and pigs, which had been left behind by visiting humans, which made it impossible for the slow-moving tortoise to make a living. As a result, the rest of them died, leaving only George. This is sad that George died alone and not surrounded by a species of his own. How many of these species have you not heard of before? Let us know in the comments section below. And also don't forget to check out our other videos on the left and right of the screen, if you are interested in more amazing content. See ya!